Hey, it's Mobile Rick. And in this video, we're going to be talking about income machines, which, if you've been following me through my blog or emails or social media, you know how often I reiterate over and over the absolute importance, critical importance, that you prioritize setting up your income machine as soon as humanly possible. In this video, we're going to be going through the essential components of your income machine. What parts do you need to have in your income machine in order for you to start bringing in more customers, clients, whatever it is, whoever your audience is that you are targeting? You're going to need some kind of mechanism to bring them in and process them automatically without you having to do anything. Ideally, you want it to be a system where you minimize your effort for the maximum profit, right? And if you understand the concept of a funnel, of reaching out there and getting as many people as possible, and then gradually reeling them into your network, into your machine, into your system, then you understand you got to be dealing with a lot of people. Ideally, you want to be aiming for something like 10,000 people a day that you are able to sift through. You're not there in the beginning, but you want to be able to build up to that and then keep on scaling up and up and up, because that's where the magic really starts to happen. In order to get there, you're going to need to set up some kind of automated system that's doing all that work for you, because you can't do that by hand, obviously. So I'm going to go through the essential components. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible because there are a few components, and I want to get to what you can do about setting that up as quickly as possible. All right, so the essential components of your income machine. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, which a lot of you probably are, as I definitely was when I started out, there's just so many different money-making systems out there, and I was hopping from one to the other, finding out about these cool systems, and every time that they would connect it to some celebrity name, and I'd be like, oh wow, did you hear about this system by so and so? Not realizing as a beginner that there are like a million systems and they all to some degree work. It's a question is like, which one do you go with, right? You need to know what is actually essential to setting up your system, because the truth of the matter is that all of the systems fall into only a few categories. And the system that is most appropriate for like a solopreneur, somebody who's just working on your own business from your sofa or in a cafe or whatever, there are certain systems that would actually be most appropriate if you're not interested in having a huge team of people and stuff. And I'm that type of person. I assume that you're that type of person as well. So there is a certain way that we do things that's going to work out best for you. So when I'm talking about these types of systems, I am specifically talking about a system that is going to work best for somebody who wants to do business this way, which means among the different types of systems, you might have e-commerce, which is like you're trying to set up a big store and dealing with all these products and stuff, which is something that one can do, but generally you want to have some type of team, and it's a kind of a big operation. It can be done, but that's not the direction that I'm going. And I'm talking about a system that is relatively small that you can set up really, really fast and has the core components that exist throughout pretty much everything that you want to do online. Even if you're doing e-commerce, setting up sites, giant store sites, you still really want to have these types of elements. Even if the training course on e-com doesn't include those, there are some that do, that they produce way more income because they're using this system, which, well, let's just tell you the contrast is that e-commerce, you're dealing with very small profit margins, whereas in typical information sales, that's where the big profits are made, where you can sell something that's a very small product, easy to make, something like an ebook, training videos, and packaging them into some sort of like membership site or something, and you can charge anything you want. Whatever it's worth, that's what you can charge. That's all profit for you with no duplication costs. You don't have to run to the copier even. You know, definitely don't have to go to a manufacturer. You could just, people buy it and then they get their own copy. That's just how it works. That's why everything that you do in internet marketing is essentially profit, other than paying for the tools that you're going to use, along with, if you want to pay other people to make some of your products and stuff, which is a whole nother game that you may or may not, depending if you can afford it in the beginning. For me, I just make a lot of my own stuff because I'm able to do that, and I don't find it a huge hassle. In any case, whatever you're doing, you're going to need some type of proven business model that you can stick to, right? So let's get to the things that you're going to need. These are absolutely essential. I'm going to go through this list, and it might actually seem boring because it'll be like things, oh, well, duh, of course you need that. But those are the kinds of things. This is going to be a list of things that are so dang obvious that it's easy to get lost when you're presented with all these different kinds of systems. And it's really, it's weird, sad, etc. when you come across people who say they've been in internet marketing for a long time but haven't had much success. Then you start asking them if they have these really basic things, and they go, well, no. And these are going to be things like, go to the first one here, a niche and domain name. Who are you selling to? Do you have a good audience of people who they have money and they're rabid fans who are passionate about their topic? And related to that, do you have an appropriate domain name for that, registered in your name, and that has its keyword in the domain name? That's for SEO purposes, for the search engines to be able to find, and for other people to be able to find you as well. So all that, besides the very important thing of making sure that you have a good audience that you're trying to sell to, and then find a domain that is appropriate for that, not some cutesy thing, which, obviously there are some really big .com businesses that go for the cutesy name, sort of a catchy kind of thing that kind of catches on, and you don't want to do that as somebody who's just starting out. Just go ahead, get a boring domain name, or it can be a cool domain, but as long as you have your keyword embedded in there, just so that people can find you, make it easier. A lot of things that I'm going to recommend for beginners are things that might not be obvious to you, but they're recommended by every expert on the topic. Is that you need to do everything possible to make sort of, you got to make your own impression, but a lot of things you'll be doing are very generic and simple, and things that you might not look at and go, well, that's not very pretty or anything, but those are the things that sell. Those are the things that make the most profit and are also the easiest to produce, which also figures into the profit margins, how quickly you can reproduce things. So anyway, let's move on. Domain name is going to cost you about $10 a year. It's not a big cost. It's really just get it out of the way, get your domain name, maybe your first of many domain names that you'll be buying in the future, but just find something to start out with that's appropriate for your niche, that makes sense, okay? You're going to need web hosting. That means you need to have somewhere to host your website and pages. We're talking about something like HostGator and HostMonster and all the names of the different ones you could choose from. There are so many of them. I personally use HostGator. I've been recommending it forever, so much that I forget about who everybody else is. They're great. I'm not recommend anything for affiliate links or anything. It's just that's who I use, and they've been dependable for as long as I've been doing this. And you want it to be a paid host so that you have control of everything on your website. You don't want to have a thing where you find out you can't put ads on your site or something like that, which is basically true of most of the ones that are free. You go find a way to make a free website. Low-cost website makers and stuff like that, you often find out things like, well, you can't put ads on them, or no affiliate links. Just you don't have, and you just are missing a lot of tools when you are not given the full freedom you would have if you have a paid host. You can install whatever kind of website software you want on there, and you can do whatever you want. And that's ultimately what you want. And it's not that expensive ultimately. It's $10 to $12 a month. If you can come up with that, just get yourself some web hosting and you have a way to get started, and you have virtually unlimited freedom to do what you need to do. When somebody recommends, go ahead, set this kind of thing up, you're able to do it. You don't have to run into some kind of weird issue where you're not allowed to do something on your website, your own website. You need to have the freedom to do that. So you need paid hosting. You need a page within your website called a lead generation page where somebody, a potential customer, can enter their email address to join your newsletter and receive your promotions. It's a simple page, has no distractions. It will look essentially like this, really, which is kind of funny. If you just look at this and imagine that this is a graphic on your page, it will have a headline, a couple bullet points, and then a little box here that says enter your email, and then a button that says submit or get access or something like that. That's all that goes on the email opt-in page. I'm sure you've seen a million of them by now, and there's a reason for that. It's because that's a proven model for doing this. So the question is, do you have one yet? If you don't, then that's the third thing that you need to absolutely have, along with your domain name, your web hosting, and a way to enter your email. And you can set these right up. It's very easy to set up right when you have your web hosting. Then setting up an email opt-in page can often be as easy as just simply uploading a page to your site and customizing a few things on there. Well, sometimes even easier than that if you use WordPress and some plugins and all that. You need an autoresponder. So the consequence of them entering their email is that they get entered into your list to receive a series of emails to warm them up to their offers. The key here is that it's automated. You're not individually sending out every single email to 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers. Nobody does that. It's an automated series of emails. It's really easy to set up. You just put your emails into the system, and whenever somebody signs up, it sends them an email on the first day, another email a day later or 2 days later, however you set it up. You send them a series of emails that are going to warm them up to who you are, introducing yourself, gaining trust, and warming them up so that by the time you give them an offer, they'll feel much better about your recommendation of it, right? So yeah, so ultimately the whole point is to make money, right? So you're going to send them offers, and they might be your own offers, but in the beginning you can easily get started by sending affiliate offers to other programs that you really like, and you sign up with your own affiliate link and you put those in your emails and recommend a program because maybe you signed up for it and you really liked it, and you just be able to say, I checked this one out and it's a really awesome program. I learned a lot from it. And you can even make videos, simple YouTube videos, and put them on your blog. You want to have a blog, some type of authority blog. And the point of it, among lots of things, there are a lot of reasons to have a blog, but one of the simple, in terms of your marketing funnel, the main point is it displays your expertise. It shows that you know what you're talking about. It doesn't even matter if you're a beginner. The point is that at least you know more than they do. And a lot of times what people will do is they'll check, well, do they even have a website? Now, I'll just tell you right off, there are a lot of experts who don't necessarily have websites because they've developed their own systems and stuff. But it's still a fact that a lot of people will immediately look, do you have a website? And will make an immediate judgment. Whereas if you just have a website with not much on it, but you have good content on there, and you have some good articles, it shows that you are someone that they could learn from. Do you think they're more likely to trust you in terms of going ahead and buying whatever it is you're putting up for sale? It's much more likely if they feel like you know what you're talking about, and you can show them that through your blog. And you can also show through like blog comments and stuff that that people are actually following you and they trust you, right? The fifth thing that you absolutely need to get your system set up is just the most obvious thing. If you want people to be able to buy from you, then you need to have some type of sales letter and a payment button. At the very least, you need to have a page that has a payment button and the name of the product. That's all it has to be. You know, a store site, a lot of times that's all it is. The name of the product, a little description, and a button where they can buy it, right? you need to have at the very least that button. If you set up nothing else in your entire system, using the mindset of prioritizing the entire point of a business, which is to make money, the first thing you really should put on there is your buy button and a way to deliver the product, just in case somebody wants to buy. Of course, when you're just starting out, if nobody can see it, there's no point to it, right? But it's just a matter of mindset. Get yourself thinking about doing things that have the potential to making you money today. And if you do things in that order and sort of reverse the process, then you can keep your priorities straight so that you don't get lost in lots of just trying to be fancy, doing lots of other stuff that would be cool but doesn't actually help you make money today. The first thing you should always do is make sure you have your payment button ready for somebody to make a purchase. You know, maybe it's just a friend. Get a friend to come over and buy something from you, even if you got nothing else on the page, just, you know, to help you prove that the buy button works, right? You know, you can refund them or whatever. But it's just a mindset trick to get yourself to prioritize the things that are making you money, which are basically putting the buy button in place and connecting it to some place like PayPal or Stripe. And then after that, you know, it can be even once you've made a few sales, then keep on improving the sales copy, meaning all the stuff that goes on there to convince somebody to buy. The more you could just, you know, it doesn't have to be great in the beginning when you hardly have anybody looking at it in the first place. But as you get more and more people looking at it, that's when you should really start to put some attention onto, okay, let's tweak it a little bit and make it even better. But the first priority is make sure you at least have the button on there and then it does something. So next, this is a little bit optional, but still an extremely good thing to have in your essential list of things is to have a member site with some dripped content. So you need a way, you're going to need some way to deliver content to your buyers. Whatever they buy from you, like if it's a course or a book or something, you got to have at least a page where they can download it. So this could actually say, instead of member site and dripped, you can optionally just say you need a thank you page. That's an essential part of a funnel, a thank you page, or a download page, as it's sometimes called, a place where they can get whatever it is you just sold them, whether it's an ebook or a video or whatever, and maybe you put some other promotions on there. The advantage of having a member site, though, is that it's locked. You can protect that content from other people coming to steal it. There are some tricks to discourage people from stealing it by, you know, giving it a URL that's a little bit complicated or something like that. That's what a lot of people do. I think you will learn that member site has so many advantages, so many different things you can do with it, that eventually you're going to want to have a member site with automatically dripped content, similar to an autoresponder. But imagine a member site where you could sign up, and in week 1 it will give you such and such product, and week 2 it'll give you another thing, and then, or maybe you could do it month to month. So they're paying for the next month of content, 4 videos at a time, and then, or 2 videos at a time, or every 2 weeks, or however you want to set it up. This is a cool way that you can deliver content. And a trick that a lot of marketers use is they actually set up their member site with the idea that they're going to make content once people actually show that they're interested in buying it. It's a really good way to say, I want to make this course, but I'm not really sure if anybody's going to buy it, so I'm going to put it up for sale, and if people buy it, then I'll just stay a week ahead of them and do it. This is a trick that a lot of teachers, professors use as well. At the end of the course, well, maybe they don't know everything, they're not ready to teach the course, but they stay a week ahead of the rest of the class so that they know what to teach. They just do all the research, they're good at researching, so they do the research and then present that to their students. And you can do that too. You don't have to be an all-time expert, you just have to stay a week ahead of everybody else. Does that make sense? And a member site gives you a really good way, as a beginner especially, to start out. But even as an expert, it gives you a way to be able to test out things, ideas for courses and stuff, that you don't know if they're going to sell. So you try it out and then put out a week of content, and then if people buy, then go ahead and make the next month and the next month and the next month, so that you're staying ahead of them. But you don't have to do it all at once. That's a huge time sink in the beginning. If you create this entire course, and I've honestly done this before, even though I knew the benefits of doing this, of doing it the other way, I just made all of the content and then nobody wanted to buy the course. I've failed that way many times. You're going to fail too, lots of different ways. You need to fail so that you can understand. That's how you get experience. That's how you get wisdom about your business and all that. But anyway, member sites is a great thing for many different reasons, including keeping customers in the loop with updates, which means that you can always just come in with an email and say, hey, I just uploaded a new thing to the member site. And sometimes that's going to be automatic, like every month, you know, instead of everybody just downloading all the content at once, then you come in next month and you can say, hey, your new content is available. So you can always keep people in the loop about what's going on, so people don't forget who you are, which is an important thing for your longevity. Okay, let's moving on. This is all your basic income machine, but without this element, you have no business. So you get your store set up, basically, your system, your machine, and in order to get people into your income machine, you need traffic. You need a way to bring them in. And of course, I'm sure you know that there are lots of ways to pay for traffic. However, using elements of your income machine, like your blog, your authority blog, you can use that using SEO techniques, search engine optimization techniques, to allow Google to people to find your site through Google. So there are some simple tricks to do that, and a lot of it just has to do with repurposing your content to fill up your blog. Just get lots of stuff going on in your blog that attract different segments of your market. You could think of like each one of your blog articles being an entire website dedicated. You know, one page can be thought of as an entire website dedicated to one segment of your market. You can do one blog post about just that little segment with certain keywords that they are looking for. And you know what, if you have one that's unique to a certain group and you're the only site that has those particular keywords and that's what they typed in, you're going to come up right on the first page in a lot of instances. So you can totally target lots of different sub niches of your main niche just by using a blog and get all of those customers coming to that page, another group coming to this page, another one coming to that page. And that's one of the great tricks to getting a lot of customers to your site very quickly. And another thing about it is the traffic is pre-screened when they opt in, which means that what you're going to do with your blog is you're going to have an article, but it's going to have another box on there that says, if you want more information, sign up to our newsletter. Or it can even be, you know, if you set it up the way that is recommended, then they might sign up to get a gift. So they have presented with an article, and at the bottom of it, you have your opt-in box that says, you want more information about this, sign up here, and we'll send you a free ebook on this topic or a free video on how to optimize this section of your interest, basically. So the advantages of this, rather than getting paid traffic, just random people with it who show a vague interest in a certain topic through Facebook or Google or whatever, then once they've read through your entire article, they're going to be pre-screened. You already know that they are interested not only in what you have to say, but the fact that you said it and the way you said it, and that's why they're opting in to your site versus any other one that they possibly could have. So they're pre-screened, and that makes them already warmed up and very ready to buy when they're opt-in. Does that make sense? Okay, so what's the next second? What if, you know, I know that you're very overwhelmed with all this information. I'm going to figure out where the heck can I put this little deal here. So I'll get rid of it, or is that? Oh no, that makes me big. Okay, I think this says it's hiding. Okay, these are all the things. It's your 8 essential elements that you need to set up, right? It seems like a lot of stuff to set up. And in truth, if you were to learn each one of these individually, it can take you quite a bit of time to try to get the level of expertise. But what if it was possible for you to get it all set up in just 3 days? Seems like a lot, but what if you could? Would that be of interest to you? Then I have something to recommend to you. It's a course that's put out by some people that I have been following for a really long time. I'm going to get my picture back on here. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. a course put out quite a few years ago, actually, and it was originally called, what was it called? Newbie Crusher, and then they changed it to Income Machine, and I've been following since. It was one of my first big influences where I mean, basically they taught me to put everything together at once that I needed to do. And even though I had a lot of technical skills already, you know, doing the particular things that you need to do for internet marketing in terms of like setting up your lead generation page and how to hook it up to your autoresponder and stuff like that, all these little technical things, it was really beneficial for me to have a way to have somebody show me exactly how to do it, just step by step, just like click this button, type this in, and then click over to this site and grab this information, put it over here, all these little the technical logistics. And the cool thing about this course is that it really walks you through every single step that you need to do, and in a way that if you were able to go through the course as quickly as you could do it in just 3 days and have it all set up, your basic system set up with, let's go back with all the things that I mentioned. Let's grab that graphic off your niche and domain name, how to choose it, how to get it, what site to go to, and what to do with it when you do it, because you need to you need to get your web host and web page set up, and then you send your domain name over to your web host to connect those together. And all these things, like, they need to be connected together and stuff. So all the technical logistics, they show you how to do that without being technical, right? They just say, go here, type this in, and all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff will be out of your way. No more headaches with worrying about whether you have your system set up right. It'll just be set up. And then I'll tell you this, once you get it set up, you have so much more confidence, because you'll have your first system set up, and then it'll be like the second time you do it, it'll be so much easier, and then you'll just get into a routine. Oh, just to set up a website, this is all I got to do. Just do it, bam, 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 and it's done. Until, you know, a few years later, then you're just like, oh, you know, you could start doing them for other people because it's something that you feel like you could do in your sleep. And you're going to set up so many of these systems, you know, because you're going to want to have not just one, but a whole bunch of these systems set up. And you're just going to get really good at it. And and it all starts from just some type of training where they put it all in one place, not scattered through a bunch of different courses with different purposes and stuff. This puts it all into one system where it's all working together so that you can really understand it. That's the whole key to this whole thing of mastering all this, is being able to hold it all in your mind at once and not being scattered all over. So I'm going to highly recommend this because I've been following these guys and I totally trust them. I buy almost everything they put out, okay? And they're going to walk you through module by module. You can look through here and see what you're doing in each one and how they're going to do it. And it's quite a long sales letter that they've been developing over the last 4 years, really. Gets longer. They keep adding more stuff to the course and just making it better and better. So yeah, take a look at this. It is called Income Machine, and it comes highly, highly, highly recommended for me. And let's see, what are they charging now? Because it used to be very low priced. This is a model that you're going to get used to. That you could just launch something, you know, where it's not that good. Where, you know, you just made it up a few days ago. You made a video and then launched it, and then eventually start putting them together into little packages and stuff, and eventually it becomes a full-size course. So I got in when I think it was something like $97, and I mean it's doubled. It's only doubled, and they've added that much more value. So as I can see by all the stuff that they've added, all the bonuses are amazing. So totally recommend you that you go ahead and do this if you're at that level where it would be beneficial to you, and go to it. Thanks a lot for watching.